My name is Joe Hunich, and my project is called Native Tacoma, and it's a geocaching style tour of places around Tacoma that are historically significant to the indigenous people of the area. So for the last 4 years, I've been working with the Puget Sound Educational Services District as a coordinator for a Native American education program. And so I work with middle school and high school kids in the public schools that have Native heritage. I'm not a Native myself, and through these last 4 years of this experience, I've learned a ton about Native culture and about some of the issues facing Native communities today. And I know one of the things that my kids have vocalized a lot is, where's our history? Why aren't our stories told? And there seems to be this sense of pride, like, I'm from Tacoma, this is where I'm from, and this is my city, and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's important to understand the history of that place and the people that were there before it was a city. A lot of non-Native people, the only reference point that they have is the casinos. And I think this is just an opportunity to help non-Native people see that there's a lot more to Indigenous people than just casinos. When I was thinking about how to tell the story, I didn't want it to be my voice or like an outside historian telling the story. I want it to be the people telling the story. And so I met with some people in the Office of Historic Preservation, and I shared the idea with them and what I wanted to do. And they were really gracious about helping me get some information. And eventually what we want to do is create videos that have people from the tribe sharing these stories of these historic places. So an ideal user experience is basically a guided walk or a guided tour. So you would be able to use your phone and it would direct you to a point. When you get to the point, there would be a video that you would watch, which would be someone from the tribe telling the story of the history of that spot. It would incorporate photos of what that spot looked like as far back as we can go, in the late 1800s, even though people were there long before. It tells some history, but it also tells present, because Native culture sometimes seemingly exists in a time capsule where it's like after the 1890s they were kind of gone, but it's not. It's actually very much alive and thriving, and they're passing it on to younger generations. So I wanted to tell the story of the history, but also then show how the people today are still upholding a lot of the traditions that they had. For example, there's a couple pictures down by the waterfront that talk about canoeing and how canoeing was such an important part of the culture. And today, every summer, there's an event called Canoe Journey, where the Puyallups and many other tribes in the Puget Sound area participate in about a 2 to 3 week long journey. They canoe to each different tribe's homeland, and there's a whole protocol of asking for permission to come ashore and being welcomed on shore and sharing dances and songs at each location. And so the location in our tour shows you the waterfront, talks about the canoes, and then it brings that connection to how the canoes are still a part of the culture today. My ultimate goal for this would be that there was a sense of pride from the Puyallup people and other Native communities that their story and their history was told well. The class that I was in with Anita was super helpful in shaping this whole thing for me. It helped me see that what I was already doing was something that I could use as a platform to be creative, instead of just thinking about other people as creative and me not creative. It helped me see how can I already use what I'm doing and just think about it differently. If I want to bring communities together, if I want to tell stories, how can I do it differently than the traditional way that it's being done right now? And the class really helped me see some opportunities for how I could make that happen.